3 weeks after releasing Dead Bitches, FBG Duck was gunned down in broad daylight. His murder didn't just shake Chicago. It sparked a federal investigation that would change the drill scene forever. But to understand why Duck became such a target, we have to go back to a rivalry that had already claimed dozens of lives. Chapter 1: The War. Get back was everything. Every loss was met with retaliation. Then the music made everything worse. The streets suddenly had an audience. What once stayed between neighborhoods was now reaching millions. Every diss reached new ears. And the more savage your image became, the faster your name spread. Every new song raised the stakes. And somewhere in the middle of it all, one name started getting louder than the rest. The Rise of FBG Duck. While others focused on the streets, Duck had something different. He could actually rap. His music wasn't just built on disrespect. He knew how to tell a story. He knew how to make people listen. Combined with the disrespect in his music, he became the biggest voice coming out of 63rd and one of O Block's biggest ops. Every new release made his name even bigger. Before long, Duck wasn't just representing 63rd. He had become one of the biggest faces of Chicago drill. But then Duck did something nobody expected. Chapter 3: Chicago Legends. But in 2020, something changed. Instead of mocking the dead, Duck did something nobody expected. He paid respect to them. Not just his own people, but rivals too.
Can't forget about Fredo either. Big businessman tried to keep it.
In Chicago Legends, Duck shouted out fallen members from both sides, a move that caught almost everyone by surprise. For the first time in years, it felt like the music was becoming bigger than the beef. Fans started asking the same question. Could this finally be the beginning of the end? For a brief moment, it looked like Chicago might be turning a corner. But that moment wouldn't last. Chapter 4: Dead Bitches. Then came a song that erased almost all of that hope. Dead Bitches. One of the most controversial diss tracks Chicago had ever heard. The record mocked several fallen rivals, including O.D. Perry, T. Roy, and H.K. Within hours, it spread across YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and every corner of Chicago. Millions of people were listening. Some called it legendary, others called it reckless. Looking back, many people believe Duck signed his own death warrant. Whether that's true, we'll never know. But 3 weeks later, the war caught up with him. Chapter 5: The Hit. 3 weeks after releasing Dead Bitches, Duck was still in Chicago. To many people, that never made sense. During an interview with Vlad TV, Vlad asked Duck a simple question. Why don't you just leave Chicago? Duck's answer said everything.
In Chicago, I know better, you feel me? Like, I know what to do and what don't to do, and what not to do, you feel me? And it's like, now how I move around, shit, I'm safe, you feel me?
Duck believed he understood the city. He knew where to go, who to trust, and how to survive. But on August 4th, 2020, that confidence would be tested. That afternoon, Duck was shopping in Chicago's Gold Coast, one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in the city. Broad daylight, busy streets, luxury stores, the last place anyone expected a shooting. Then gunfire erupted. Duck was the target. The shooters disappeared within seconds, leaving panic, confusion, and a crime scene that would dominate national headlines. Hours later, FBG Duck was pronounced dead. He was just 26 years old. But for federal investigators, the story was only beginning. Chapter 6: The Aftermath. Duck's death didn't just leave a void in Chicago. It devastated a family that had already experienced unimaginable loss. 3 years before Duck was killed, his older brother FBG Brick was also murdered on the streets of Chicago. For the weekly family violence wasn't something they watched on the news. It was something they lived through. After losing both of her sons, Duck's mother, Lashina, weekly refused to stay silent. She became one of the most outspoken mothers in Chicago. She gave interviews, spoke to news outlets, shared her thoughts online, and wasn't afraid to respond to people connected to the rival side. Whether people supported her or criticized her, she made sure her sons' names would never be forgotten. As fans gathered to honor Duck, his music reached millions of new listeners. Tributes poured in from across the country, but while the public mourned, federal investigators continued working behind the scenes. They believed Duck's murder wasn't a random act of violence. They believed it had been carefully planned. and they were determined to prove it. Chapter 7. The Federal Case. For more than a year, federal investigators quietly built their case. They collected surveillance footage, analyzed cell phone records, tracked vehicle movements, reviewed license plate reader data, and pieced together thousands of pieces of digital evidence. Then in October 2021, the FBI announced federal murder and racketeering charges against 5 alleged O Block members: Muop, C Murda, C Thang, Loss, and Zell. According to federal prosecutors, the suspects traveled together from Parkway Gardens to downtown Chicago. Investigators allege that Duck was targeted because of the long-running rivalry between O Block and STL. The case immediately became one of the biggest federal investigations Chicago's drill scene had ever seen. For years, the violence had played out in rap lyrics, music videos, Instagram live sessions, and diss tracks. Now the streets had become a federal courtroom. The debate over drill music grew even louder. Did the music simply reflect what was already happening, or had it become part of the violence itself? It's a question people still argue about today. But one thing is certain: FBG Duck's story didn't end on August 4th, 2020. His life, his music, and his death changed Chicago drill forever.